Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this special episode of Explode Your Expert Business Show. Today, I'm here with the one and the only Evelina Dzimanaviciute. How are you doing, Evelina?
Hi, Simone. I'm great. Wonderful. How are you?
I am incredibly well. Thank you very much. So now you're on holiday. You
I am, yes.
in Lithuania?
I am in Lithuania, actually enjoying beautiful weather and sunshine. So I'm very glad to have some rest and be away and spend some time with my family, definitely.
Which is really important.
Yeah.
So before we get into the context and the help that you need for selling from the stage and the event, can you just give us a 30 seconds introduction so then people know who you are and what you do?
Yeah, so my name is Evelina. I'm a leadership development coach and a trainer, and I work to help managers to improve their productivity and business performance and achieve their goals using the reptilian brain, so the oldest parts of the brain that can often run our lives automatically on autopilot. I'm trying to harness that power to help you to achieve better results in your business. So that's what I do. And the reason why I would like your help today, Simone, is because I do have some of my events and I have some of my coaching programs as well, but I'm struggling to kind of marry the two together and confidently sell some of my coaching programs during the events. So I was wondering if that's something that you could help me with.
Of course. That's why we are on this call. Piece of cake.
Yeah.
So what we're going to look at, we are looking at two aspects. You mentioned in the chat that we had before. One is the offer side of the that people are not taking the offer, or not as many people as you would love to are taking on the offer, and the other part also you mentioned confidence. So we are going to address both, because I think they are really important in the sales process, because you can have the best pitch ever, and if that doesn't sound confident, doesn't make sense, and then you can be also super confident and on the other side be all over the place, and then no one buys anyway. So they are two very important sides. I want to explore the confidence side first. What the issue, the resistance around that?
Well, I think I'm overall, very confident person overall.
Exactly. That's why I was pretty surprised.
In, speaking in public and speaking in a front of many people, and that's all great. But I think with the selling part, especially, is something that I'm offering my coaching services. I have no problem selling my courses or something, because I feel like I'm selling my knowledge, I'm selling, my skills, and with that I have no problem. But when it comes to kind of more of a personal coaching sessions, it doesn't feel anymore like I'm selling a product or a service. It becomes more like I have to sell myself, So I think probably it's got to do with that, because I can sell, but I don't like selling myself. So.
So why do you think if you are selling a session, is selling yourself and not your knowledge and your expertise, like it would be for an event?
I know that in reality, rationally, obviously, it doesn't make sense, but it just feels that way. It's kind of personal work, and I know that during that event, I've already built trust. I know that those are people who already bought some of my services, who are coming already to my courses, and most of them, I kind of nearly wait for them to come to me and say, what's next, and then I say, there is this amazing coaching program that you can take after, rather than me coming forward and saying, right, guys, you have those amazing skills now, you've got all of these amazing tools, but, what about having somebody else helping you, to keep accountable, helping you to make sure and implement and kind of guide you through, through the process of making sure that all of those skills becomes a new embedded habit, to be that person to kind of help them implement that.
So what you said already is a good pitch. This one. That's a really good pitch. So the question I have for you is, do you consciously allocate time when you're planning your event and when you're rehearsing your material or preparing the material? Do you consciously allocate time to rehearse the pitch and to know when exactly the pitch is going to be in the context of the event?
Well, what I usually do, my events are either 2 or 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
And I usually, I kind of make hints throughout the course, like to some of my clients and some of the examples of,
Mm-hmm.
this amazing John who achieved this and that, and so forth, which I'm using real examples from
Yep.
my real customers as I go. And then usually on my last day, maybe not at the very end of the day, but maybe after lunch or something, I do take time to say, right, guys, would you like to know more about, the services and what could happen after the course and things, and just kind of introduce things to them and leave some materials, information and notes at the end of the room, and leave them some time to come back to me if they have any questions and things. So I'm not
Okay.
kind of doing it in kind of very kind of pushy or salesy way. I'm saying,
Mm-hmm.
this is what's available. If you have any questions, if you're interested, please come and speak to me. And then obviously, then I have no problem selling things one-to-one, because I can really listen to each person, and I can really listen to their individual needs, and I can then tailor whatever service that it is that they require based on their specific problems and issues that they have. So for me, it's just that initial kind of call during that event to kind of invite people to come and chat to me, so that I can see what it is that they need and tailor offer for
That's
them.
brilliant. Okay, so there are a few things that are okay. One more thing. Do you rehearse it before? Do you spend time rehearsing and practicing 5 or 6 times or 10 times before the event what you're going to say in that moment?
No, not really. I kind of, have idea, and I know what more or less, what I need to say, but I kind of, I don't rehearse, any of my courses or anything. It's yeah, kind of, I find normally that I'm quite confident speaker, and I'm normally, in terms of my content and courses, it flows.
It's
So maybe
I
that's
agree.
something.
Yeah, exactly. And
But with
a
the
lot of
sales
speakers,
bit, it's,
a lot of speakers are in
yeah,
your same situation, because in particular the speakers like yourself that are natural speakers, they don't need a lot of preparation. You know your material. You're very competent. That you've been studying it and doing it for years. The thing with a sales pitch is a completely different dynamic, because you need to know what you're saying. It's like you would going to have
yeah,
when you go into a sales conversation, you know when you're where you're leading your prospect with with the questions that you're going to
yeah.
ask. You will know what kind of question to ask. You will know what products you have available, and you will know how to position them during the sales conversation one to one.
Hmm.
Now, when you're doing it one to many, it becomes even more difficult, because now suddenly you need to make sure that everyone in the room understand, and sharing something which is general enough and specific enough for them to feel, yes,
Yeah.
this is talking
Mm.
to me, and everyone in the room needs to feel, yes, this is talking to me, if they are the right people in the room, and that's difficult. So my
Yeah.
recommendation is also one of the thing that one of the reasons why I see a lot of people are not confident, because it's almost saying, I'm going to, if an actor going to an audition and they haven't learned their lines, if they know their lines and what they're going to say back to front, they're going to be more confident. If they don't know it, then they
Mm.
was like, oh well, I'm not confident in that. And I'm not saying that you need to have a script that you need to know word by word.
Hmm.
I'm not saying that. Unless you are the kind of person, if you're listening right now, and some speakers, they love to have their script and they perform incredibly well by
Mm.
memorizing a script. I'm not one of them. I don't think you're one of them.
No, I wouldn't know.
So at the same time, you need to have
Yeah.
when you're delivering your content, you have a checklist of what to say first, what to say second, what to say third
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
your delivery.
Yeah.
And at the same time, you want to have that in your pitch.
Okay.
And that is really important, that you take time to practice and rehearse it, all the bullet points and all the things that you're going to talk about up front. So then when you are on stage, when you are in the moment of the that you're making them aware of what's available, then you know what you're talking about. And one of the best ways, yeah.
So also, Simone, when is the best time to do that?
I'll
Because you
address that
asked
in
me.
I'll address
Oh,
that in a
okay, great,
moment.
yeah.
In
Okay.
your situation, because you're running 2 or 3, like the best time depends from the context.
Okay.
The best time on a 30 minutes talk and a 3-day talk, they're very different best times.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
So I'm going to address the timing in a moment.
Mm-hmm.
The way you make it easier to getting back to the rehearsal, the way you make it easier for you is that you have seen me selling from the stage a few times. From at Explode Your Expert Business when you came down, and as you noticed, I had a PowerPoint slide, and every step of the PowerPoint there was a couple of words or an image that triggered my presentation or that part of the conversation.
Yeah.
So that PowerPoint is actually more for me than for the audience. Because I know that I need to talk about certain things, and I need to talk about certain things in a certain order. I need to position the problem. I need to position what happens if they don't take that action. I need to position what are the benefits of the program. I need to position the case studies. I need to position the bonuses that they're going to receive. I need to position the offer and the discount if I'm making an offer on discount. And there are a lot of things to remember. There are a lot of things to remember.
Yeah, so yeah, definitely. So I think other things, that I really need to look into is what is it exactly that I'm offering, and like you say, the values, the discount, the offers, the gifts, and all of those things that maybe, if I probably need to kind of craft all of that out to make sure that I know exactly what it is, because I have some things, but I don't do all of this, this is for 10 grand and now you have it for 2,
and you don't
or
have to
anything
do
like
it.
that.
Like you don't have to do it.
I just so I kind of have to find my own way of doing it, and I probably haven't yet.
So that's a very good point. You don't have to do this is for 10 grand, today you will have for 2. There are different ways which we will address in a moment, and we'll find the best one for you.
Okay.
What I'm saying is that no matter what, even when you're selling one-to-one, you will start your conversation a very specific way, and you will end your conversation a very specific way to make sure that the client buys and pays. The same thing needs to happen when you're selling from the stage, and the awareness of the product and knowing exactly what you're going to sell, what it does, who is it for, who is it not for, what are the features, what are the benefits. This is what gives you the confidence to then deliver it. Okay. So now it's not anymore a confidence issue. I don't like to sell myself. Now is, I'm actually not really sure about what I'm selling. That's why I'm not that confident.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Can you see that?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
And it happens all the time.
Right.
It happens all the time because the reason why you are so great in sharing the content that you're sharing is because you know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? So if you know what you're talking about in the moment of the pitch, when you're talking about the product, who is it for, who is not for, what are the benefits, what are the features, what are the case studies associated to it, it doesn't have to be a grandiose pitch that you see on, on this large seminar around the back of the room.
Exactly,
10,000. If that's not the style that works for you, that's a style. You don't need to do that one. We're going to find the other style. But the first homework for you is to be absolutely clear about what kind of which one is your offer, and you can jump in the online mastermind that we're running as well, and Siawash or Jeff, they can help you out with that. So just to have a sounding board on the product, how it works, so then you can make sure you're having a clear one. Then the next question is we are going to address the right timing and the right style.
Okay.
Because the timing and the style, well, the style depends from the speaker. Every speaker will have a different style.
Yeah.
And so we are looking at your style, and then the timing will depend from the length of the workshop. So looking at the timing, the best thing to do on a 2 or 3 days, which has been tested and proven by me and hundreds of other people that I've talked about that are doing this very successfully, is if you're having a 2 or 3 days, to start mentioning the program and having a very soft pitch to make them aware about what the program is and what it does on the afternoon of the first day. The reason why it is because when you're spending 2 or 3 days with an audience, you're building a certain level of relationship.
Yeah.
So the get in now, hard sell, close, that even wouldn't work because you are playing the relationship game in that scenario. So now, if you say this on the first day around the afternoon time, they already had about more than half a day with you. So they already gotten a lot of value from you. And at the same time, by making them aware up front, they will have more time to evaluate the decision-making process.
Okay.
So if you're looking at our 3 days when we sell, we do the first pitch on the first day in the afternoon, and then we will do another pitch on the last day in the afternoon.
Okay.
So now they are aware. So then we can invite them to fill up the application, to have a conversation. So then we can close the one-to-one, and then there is a final call to action at the end. So I'm seeing the whole 3 days as a pitch. It's just topping and tailing.
Well, yeah, essentially, yes, of course, because, all throughout, like I said, even throughout the courses, of course, I would be mentioning already, some of my clients that I'm already working with, you mentioning some success stories as an examples, when somebody is asking any questions throughout the course. So, of course, there's a lot of that where you kind of, showing how much more is there for them to experience, outside of the course as well.
Absolutely, exactly. And the way, so these are the timings. So in the first part, the things that you want to talk about, and we are recording this interview, so then I'll send you the file when it's ready.
Okay,
so you can go back. If you're looking at dividing your pitch in these 2 parts, afternoon, first day, and afternoon, second or third day. In the first day, you want to be focused on delivering, making them aware of the benefits. So why do they need to keep working with you? And that's exactly as you said. Right now, you're going to get a lot of skills during these 2-3 days, but then there is a difference between knowing something and mastering something. So by working together, we will make sure that you will implement every single thing that you're going to learn in these 3 days, because you will see the real results when you are going to, where those skills, they're going to be part of your day-to-day routine. And that takes time and that takes support. That's why I want to be there for you. Which is what you said before.
Yeah.
And then the next part that you want to make them aware is why, again, is this important for them? So reiterate, why is this important if you have the skills for your life, for your business, for your career? Very focused on the audience, which is in that moment. And then the last part is how that works. Just give them a brief overview, not in detail, but just a brief overview if this is going to be one-to-one, if this is going to be a group course, if it's going to be online, if it's going to be face-to-face, and the benefits associated to delivering the course in that way. So let's say, for example, if it's one-to-one, you will say the course that you can join is called, you give them a name, and then we are going to spend one-to-one time so that you can get this result. So now I know, okay, it's one-to-one, it's not a group course. And then I will mention as well, if you buy within the next 3 days, within these 3 days, then I will have a special offer for you. Now at that point you can decide. You can make the offer there and then to make them aware this is the offer available. And as much as you are resistant to making, this is £10,000 and people buy offers. If you think about the shoes that you buy, do you like to pay full price or do you like to pay them a discount?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
right?
What kind of question is this?
But it's the same. It's the same
It's
thing.
true.
It's
Yeah,
buying. It's
absolutely.
buying,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
And
it is.
if you don't make an offer, you're actually preventing them from making a buying decision. A large part of the room to making that buying decision.
Other thing as well that I do as part of the course, because I'm speaking about the brain and how we are these impulsive creatures, and as part of that, I actually have one little topic which I talk about, like marketing and how we are actually manipulated by sales, and how aisles in a shopping markets are specifically tailored so we buy stuff that we don't need. I actually have a lot of examples where I'm using that, and then I do sometimes make a joke saying, now, I'm going to use now those techniques for you, let's see. And, refer to that as well, which is as well sometimes a bit, it's a bit uncomfortable to do because I'm actually telling them what it is. But by doing that as well, I found that, people usually find that quite funny. And also it builds rapport because
Absolutely.
I'm very open and I'm not hiding anything, so I'm,
Exactly.
yeah.
It makes a keep doing that. Because
Okay.
by showing what you're doing, you're saying, hey, I've nothing to hide. I know these techniques. I can use them. But I don't want to use them on you while you're using them on them. So is I love it. I've seen it done many
Yeah.
times. Sometimes I do it myself, and it really works. In particular, if you're talking about psychology and sales
Yeah.
psychology. So keep that alive.
Okay.
And then you want to make sure you're aware of what's the real value, what's the discount you're giving them, and what bonuses you're giving them. Now, some people, for example, they don't want to give discounts, so what they will say, it will be, if you join this program, is this much, but if you join today, I will give you this, 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 and this on top. So
Okay.
now I'm
All
not
right.
discounting and say normally it's 10,000. No, this is the price and this is the price, whether you buy it today or
Yeah. Okay.
another time. But if you buy today, this is what you're going to get on top. This, 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 this. So if you were to buy this separately altogether, in any other circumstances will be this price. You buy today, you only pay this. So you
Yeah.
can make the price
Yeah.
drop in this
I
way.
think I quite like that idea. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So now you are having a way that works better for you as you are as a person.
Yeah.
And then you will use the second part. So you remember now during the 3 days, then you're having your case studies, you are keep seeding the fact of working with you every now and then. And then in the part of the afternoon, then the pitch there is more to handle the objections and to give the details of how it works.
Okay.
So the objections that people will be, why should I buy it? Like why do I need to spend this money? So then we are going to mention about the return on investment that they're going to have, and you're going to link the benefits to the return on investment. The other question that I have is it going to be a waste of time? So then you're going to address the fact of how your program or your courses will help
Yeah.
them having more time. Is it making sense?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, absolutely. And that kind of part sometimes, when people kind of questioning, and for me to answer the questions, of course, I need to sometimes even answer them the questions before they are even being asked. During that, when I sometimes I always invite people who either attended my courses before or who are already my clients to the course. And sometimes I ask them, I say, well, you can ask them. And I ask those people who are actually having that to say, okay, what you got out of it, and share to everybody else.
That's very powerful.
Yeah.
That's very powerful, live testimonials. And also make sure that you address those objections yourself, because people have them, whether they ask them or not, they will have them. Another thing is that I've learned this, and I like it. Never take Q&As about the product or service. Like if someone wants to have a conversation, I don't get the conversation public, because if someone has an objections, what happens is seeding the same objections in the other people in the room.
Yeah, that's why I usually prefer to speak to person individually and say that, if you have any questions, anything, any concerns, you come and speak to me in person, and then we can discuss because, you know,
Absolutely. Perfect. Fantastic.
and yeah, I probably think when that's, you know, initial kind of call to come and speak to me, that I probably don't get it right.
Yep. You were breaking up a bit.
Okay.
Are you back?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, okay, I can hear you. Fantastic. So I can hear you again. Can you hear me?
Okay.
Brilliant.
Here, yeah.
So now the other thing that you need to be aware is what kind of clause are you going to have. You can have two kinds of clauses in terms of call to action. One is to give them a sales form, or to get them to sign up at the back of the room or at the table, the crew table. Or the other is to fill up an application form and then close the sale one-to-one. So in over
Okay.
3 days, the application form, the application close is the one that works the best over the 3 days or 2 days, because then on day one you can immediately start taking application. And if you remember what I did when I was running the Explode Your Expert business, every single break I remind people, if you haven't filled out your application, fill up right now, because I know they will have time before the breaks. And then during lunchtime or during other breaks, then we will have the sales conversation individually for the people that applied for the program. And therefore, because now now you're moving the conversation where it's more comfortable for you, which is the one-to-one interaction.
Which is exactly what I needed, yeah.
Right? So they don't have to buy and to fill up the form there and then. They can say the process, if you want to sign up for this course, the first thing I want you to do is to fill up an application form. Then during these 3 days, we will have a chat one-to-one. And then during our conversation, then we will find out which option is the best for you and if this course is a perfect fit for you.
Yeah, okay.
And so now you are playing where it's comfortable, which is the sales one-to-one, and you know that once you're having that one-to-one conversation, they're going to buy.
Okay, yeah.
Perfect. And that solves the issue of your speaking style, which means the best way, the most comfortable way, and most natural way for you is to bring the conversation one-to-one. So use wherever you can the application clause. And you know that is more comfortable, is less pushy, less salesy. You're having a chat one-to-one, and also your conversion will go up as well.
Sure. Okay.
So I think we covered a lot. Do you have one last question? I have time for one last question.
How to make it happen?
So you're breaking up, Evelina. I cannot hear you right now. So if you have one more question, then send it to me via Messenger, and I will respond that question there. In the meanwhile, thank you very much for being part of this call. I hope that was useful for you. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening to another episode, a special edition of Explode Your Expert Business Show. I'm going to do more and more, in particular because when you master selling from the stage, whether it's from seminars, from webinars, your business will really take off. And if you see the most successful speakers, the most successful trainers, they've all mastered this art and science, which is an art and science at the same time. It's not easy to master, but once you master it, then I believe is your ticket to financial freedom. That's why I'm really passionate about helping everyone I can to master the skills and finding in a way which is comfortable for who they are and their own business model, because there is not only one way to do it. There are many ways, and you have to find a way that works best for you. So if you want to work together and if you want me to help you create a high converting presentation and help you out, then click the link that you will find in the show notes and book your call with our team, and they're going to have a chat with you and see how we can help you out and how we can make sure you turn your seminars into cash. Evelina, once again, thank you very much, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you for having me, Simone. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. Bye.
Bye bye.